And as we know, we're in a period of global warming, so we've had excessive high heat and high UV of the ground and the air, and this has caused a lot of humidity to collect and water to collect. And the Saturn project that has passed us has also made more water collect onto the Earth from nearby moons, and similar effects of creating water through nitrogen and oxygen. And rain has been precipitating quite a lot. Now there's quite a lot of water on the surface of the planet Earth, and we have a problem. We're now having a period of travel through a galaxy that's an external planet, the Alpha Centauri Prime, is influencing our orbit of the Earth, and it seems to be accelerating the Earth's rotation by 1/3 possibly. Now calculations say that with a centripetal force outwards of increased acceleration with the water volume we have on the surface of the planet, this leads to flooding of the equatorial regions all around the Earth. That will then lead to a flooding of the larger water, the Pacific and the Adriatic large water masses. They will then raise also in height quite a lot. In fact, according to Poseidon, it could be 500 meters high in water volume of an area maybe 20 or 30,000 kilometers in 2 or 3 different regions of water mass. This is enough water to cause flooding through channels of mountain corrals and mountain regions of valleys and other such forms of channel structure, like the Mekong Delta and like various middle regions of the Earth. In fact, it could even go through Europe, even through North or South Africa. A flood there of water volume mass that would dissipate in a like a torrent from a hydrant. Is the movie's projection. In fact, it is so massive that it could cause damage to life, and the buildings, cars, and the people would also flood quite dramatically. In fact, it is quite a catastrophic chain of events that could occur should we not anticipate this flooding, which we can do nothing about. We now have so much water rising, and all that can happen to save the Earth and the people is to drive a period of coldness, to go into a cold ice age again, so that we can freeze the water. Hopefully it will then turn into gases in the period of 10 or 20 years or more, and then the water volume will reduce and the land masses will not be damaged by the torrential floods of rains and floods and storms and El Niños and cyclones and other such weather storms. When the wind builds up, obviously more water is more oxygen, more atmosphere, so that can lead to more cyclic effects of winds. And this chain of events has obviously been predicted before because it has happened. The Ice Age, yes, and the cold mass of Siberia and obviously South Pole. In fact, Burke and Willis have something to do with it. You look back a bit earlier in the texts. It was predicted by the French and the Polish when they explored the Earth, because there was no such thing as Australasia or Antopia. It was all underwater. There was that much water mass. Will this happen again? Not for a short while. Possibly, in 500,000 or 600,000 years? Well, we can't say. It depends which way the water goes. It usually follows the channels of the land masses as it spreads from its risen and tidal nature. We might even move away from this Alpha Centauri and go our normal orbit, which way the Earth turns and how far the Sun is from us and other such things. It depends what Saturn does, very much. And we can possibly save it by reducing the water floods and having it reduce slowly and not just flood over. And perhaps it's an over dramatized movie, perhaps. It's just a water high, water low, like just a slight flooding of the coasts. We often see on low sand masses. I'm sure it's nothing more than usual. Yes. But what's to say what happens with the land mass, with rocks and mountains, all the ground heat and lava that we've been having underneath? I mean, it's going to be a large heating we've had, and a large cooling because of the water, and then from that, air, oxygen, and then more forests again, and then more rain again, and then more wildlife, and life again. Possibly the Earth itself is a bigger diameter, so that will help. Yes. So check all this all over again with observances from our nearby stars and telescopes and the like. It would be useful all the time, yes.